Now we're going to other stories now. This morning, a Somali lawmaker lost his life in Mogadishu when Al-Shabaab gunmen sprayed his car with bullets. Police and militants confirmed the incident, saying it was the sixth occurrence of such an attack since the start of 2014. The Al-Qaeda-affiliated Islamist militants were pushed out of the capital by African peacekeeping forces in 2011, but have waged a series of gun and grenade attacks to try to overthrow the government and impose its strict version of Sharia law. 5 lawmakers were also killed last year by Al-Shabaab, which seeks to topple the Western-backed Mogadishu government and impose its own strict version of Islamic law. The group has also claimed responsibility for all the attacks, and the police officer, that's Captain Osman Ali, said the lawmaker Abdullahi Kayad Bare was killed when militants fired on his car and then sped off. An offensive launched last year by African Union forces along with the Somali army has driven the group out of their strongholds in central and southern Somalia, while a series of U.S. drone strikes have killed some of its top leaders. Now, earlier on, we did tell you about the UN-backed experts that are encouraging governments to implement programs that use more treated water to help meet the needs of populations around the world. And with only 20% of global wastewater in use currently, countries are being asked to see treated water or wastewater as a valuable resource for future development. Joining us now via Skype is Reuben Ossai, who is the National President for WAMASIN, that's the Waste Management Society of Nigeria. Reuben, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you, too.
Now, I believe you can hear me. I'd like to start by asking you if Nigeria is part of the 20% that have invested in water waste management.
Incidentally, thank you very much first. Nigeria, as of today, have not seen wastewater as a challenge from all ramifications. Rather, we are interested in harvesting both our surface and underground water in a very rapid manner. So I would say that Nigeria is not within that range of people who are thinking, or countries that are working on refining or treating their wastewater for either further use or for reduction of pollution load on the environment.
So why are we not part of the 20% then?
Probably, I would say that Nigeria is currently, as like any other developing country, battling with infrastructure stock. And least in their priority is waste. Generally, if you look through the profile of Nigerian cities and the rural communities, you see that there is no infrastructure for waste management. Even in the current plans that you see with government development plans we have, both in the development control agencies that you have, both in the state and in the federal government, least thing they think of incorporating in their plan is waste management infrastructure. And water, of course, or wastewater, is a major element in urban settlement and urban development, because without water, the more as we are developing every day, we are depending more on water and energy. And this, if you depend on water, probably about 75 to 150 liters of water is consumed by everybody, by one person a day. And if you see that, that means we are going to have a waste burden of about 15 million cubic meter of waste coming from our population, and this is not catered for. So it's a major challenge.
So now that you've explained the implications and why we're not part of the 20%, what would you say is the way forward now to being part of the 20%?
Yeah, of course we know that if we are unable to take care of our wastewater, the implications are very far-reaching in so many other sectors, just like in waste management. Number one, we will have more problem in the healthcare services sector. The delivery will be much more expensive because diseases that will be spread because of this lack of treatment or handling of wastewater. Also, our surface water will be polluted because about 25% of wastewater generated in Nigeria is discharged into surface water, or surface water is part of the system that is generated with it. So that's one problem. On the other side, it will also lead to pollution of our soil resources. And then this will eventually affect the crops that will grow out of it. So it will have a tremendous effect in degrading our ecological resources, including aquatic life, the soil resources of the country, and then increase the burden of healthcare delivery, and at the same time, potable water supply will be highly affected too.
Mr. Reuben Ossai, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. We really appreciate your time. Mr. Reuben Ossai is the National President of the Waste Management Society of Nigeria.